quick little sort of tech video, if you will, on stuff I wish I knew while going into the cam bearing installations here. So, first things first, this motor was supposedly an 03. So, right off the bat, I guess 03 is sort of like a changeover year for cam bearing diameters, outside diameter, if you will. So, from what I've been told anyway, correct me if I'm wrong. So, first thought was, I got onto the parts store's website, and for an 03, they said, yep, you know, if your bearings in between, if your front and rear bearing is in between this and this, then, you know, it gave you some sort of inch measurement. And it said if it's in between this and this, then it's the early bearings. And then they had other, you know, for the later engines, they had ones that were a little bigger, I guess, on the number one, the 5th position. So anyways, so this was an early motor, come to find out. And it took these, let's see if I can find you the part number. So the interchange number is CH10, which seems to be a common, you go on Summit jigs, whatever, you pull up LS cam bearings, usually CH10 is a pretty common one. This happens to be, they come up Cleveite, but they're in a Mally box, Mally, however you pronounce it. So they're CH10s basically, so I guess these are the early ones. And I was told, well, they are packaged in order, so, but they don't give you any like 1 through 5. This is how they do it, and I wish I knew this going into it. Obviously your 3 middle going here, and then so 1 and 5, and now that's just my number, they don't actually number them like that. 1 and 5 are the same, and then your 2 here, so my number would be your 2nd position, 4th position, are actually the same number, and then your center is its own part number. So I believe they don't give you the part numbers on this box, of course, but they went like SH 814 was your center, so here, and there was like an SH 815, and it was your, say, your 2nd and your 4th, and then the SH 816 was your 1 and your 5. So let's repeat that again. Position 1, so if we're going by the main caps, talking main cap language here, because they're all number 1 through 5. 1 and 5 are the same diameter. 2 and 4, same diameter. 3 is its own diameter. This is how GM does it, okay? So this is the first position, right? You think, okay, yep, 1. Obviously, GM cam bearings, this motor's never had cam bearings. These were OEM, they're kind of crap. But now look at this. This is the 5th position. So in other words, rear of the motor, most rearward, okay? Find the number. So you got GM, another OEM bearing. There you go. Look at that. 1. In other words, these are the same part number, or number. So 1 and 1, same diameter. Okay. So we'll go to 2. Look here. Okay. Yeah. Right. 2. Okay. That's what I thought too. But then you go to your 4th. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Look at that. Also 2. So in other words, these 2 are the same diameter. Okay. And that's what you need to know going into it. So you're looking at part numbers and such. That's how they do it. So like I said, with the Cleveite ones, they did the same thing, except they had their part numbers. And then this says position 3, which is indeed, it is numbered 3. But, like I said, this is 2 and that's 2. This is 1 and that's 1. So, just to give you an idea, so the center is its own diameter, the outers 2 and 4 are their own diameter, 1 and 5 are their own diameter. I guess a quick little go over installation wise. I went from the front of the motor in with my see if I can find the tool here, Summit Racing $75 tool. You know, real nice tool. It's threads on here and here. It's got your little slide collet. So basically I did 5 first. In other words, rearmost of the motor. It's pretty simple. Take the flywheel out, or flex plate off, rear main out, then your number 5 is exposed. Obviously these are all new. So, and so you start, obviously you have to pound them all out, okay? You pound, you know, whatever, it doesn't really matter how you do it, but, you know, pound this one out first, second, third, foot. And the best way is to take the rods and pistons out, take the crank out. It's not a big deal. It's not rocket science to torque this stuff back down. You can reuse it. Some people will tell you can't, but you can. I always have. My other truck that's LS swapped has been together forever, and I beat the living, you know, piss out of it. Nothing to worry about. This motor's got like 200K on it, and these bearings, you know, they have some run marks, you know what I mean, where stuff's run through the bearing, but it's really nothing. Anyhow, so pound all your bearings out. It's pretty simple. You put it in there, you tap it with a hammer, bang, bang, bang. Get your first one out, second, third, fourth, fifth. Not rocket science, guys. Okay, that's the easy part. And then basically you want to start with your 5th. When you're putting your brand new ones in, put your 5th in first. Okay, but what you have to remember is you have oilers. Okay, so the motor's flipped upside down. Your main oil journal, you can't see it in the video, but there's a little ridge right here that goes down to the bearing area. Okay, so there's oilers only on one side of the motor. You gotta make sure that bearing, at least one of those is lined up. One of those holes is lined up. Okay. So I'll show you how I did it. So if you're looking at this one, and see how you can't really see them. So this motor's upside down. So when it's right side up, and see how I marked it. Anyway, so when it's right side up, these are kind of on this half of the bearing. So you want them on the lower half. So in other words, I'll show you right here. These are the old ones, not the new ones. So the motor's right side up. You want the oilers, oil holes, this one to be here, this one to be here, whatever that would be. Say, you know, whatever position you think that is. If you're looking at a clock, it'd be, you know, 4 o'clock and, you know, 4 o'clock and 8 o'clock or something. I don't know. But anyways, you want it like facing like this with the motor right side up. When the motor's upside down, they're going to be on that half moon of the bearing, if that makes sense to you guys. Anyhow, like I said, one of these oil holes, you're going to see the galley when the bearings are out. One of those oiling holes has to be in that oil galley, okay? Otherwise your bearings won't get lubrication. You'll, you know, smoke your brand new cam you just bought for $240. Smoke your bearing, probably spin your bearings. So you want to make sure that's how they go. As you can see, bam. Not that my camera phone's any good. They're all kind of in the same spot. An easy way to do that is when you have the bearing, I'll show you real quick. I don't know how long my iPhone's going to record this. So when you have the bearing, see how, like I said, oil holes have to be on like the top side when the motor's upside down, just like that, okay? So when you're holding it like this, mark, put this down so I can show you guys. So you get your oiler here, oiler here. Try to mark dead center of that, okay? This will give you a better idea how to line them up without having to stick your head in there, or stick a camera phone in and line it up. Get your center, Sharpie, your center. Sharpie line right in the center of these two oilers, okay? With the motor upside down again, you can then, for instance, I'll put it up against here, you know, you can just line it up with whatever centermost is. So if you're looking at your third journal, this is obviously, you know, your crank journal, but you can line it up with this for reference, you know what I mean? Or you could actually line it up with the oiler holes for the crank, right there. You just line the center of that bearing up where you did your Sharpie, you know, put it down in there, and you just slide your tool in, whichever one you're on, get it lined up, pound it in. You don't need any retainer glue or whatever, no Permatex retainer, bearing retainer, you don't need any of that. You don't need to retain these. These press in tight. You know, you'll need a good, whatever, 2-pound sludge, not sludge, but, you know, a good hefty hammer to give those a good smack right here, you know, size of my hand. So good size hammer like that will get it done. But that's kind of the things I wish I knew before I went into doing this. Again, these LSs come apart like nothing. Oh, another good idea to do that I did not do because I'm dumb. See this hole right there? That hole is your camshaft position sensor, okay? That kind of protrudes out to read, obviously, the little ring or the little reluctor on your camshaft to make sure it's got signal, blah, blah, blah. For timing purposes, make sure you get the sensor out. Take the sensor out because I pressed the old bearing out here and I couldn't get the tool back, you know, pull the tool out because my sensor was stuck in there. So just another thing that I wish I knew that I'm trying to show you guys so you guys can get something done faster. You don't feel as nervous to do the cam bearing install. So that's my video. That pretty much wraps it up, guys. Take it apart, get the old ones out, slam the new ones in, make sure your oilers line up. And one quick tip I guess I can show you when the phone dies. Every one you do, take a pick, okay? Just take a pick. And you just, like this. Now, watch how far this goes in, okay? How far up in there it goes. Okay, that tells me that we've reached an oil galley, okay? But if you go over here where there is no oil galley, look at that. It won't even go in, nothing. Because there is no oil galley there, it's only on the one side. So, every one you do, take your pick. Oh, okay, we're in a galley, all 5 of them. Just for good measure. I second guess myself all the time. And that's how I relieve my anxiety or whatever you want to call it, my worry. You just do stupid stuff like that. It helps you think better, be less worried. You don't stay up at night worrying about if your cam bearings are in right, blah, blah, blah. So anyways, this is this LQ4 that's going in my Mercury Zephyr, aka Fairmont, whatever you want to call it. They're all the same car. Turbo 350, it's going to be turbocharged, probably stock ECU, so I can tune it myself. It's cheap. I have a licensed computer right there for it, so I already have the computer. I have HP tuners. I just need a harness for this. Use stock sensors, blah, 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 and it runs and it does burnouts. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope this helped you guys. You know, if there's any other things you want to learn, I mean, I'm going to gap the ring, so I'll probably put a ring gap video out. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Please like, comment, subscribe, hate me, do thumbs down, I don't care.